Hello, welcome.
We can give them a second. Let's see if anybody shows up.
We haven't been doing it at this time for a minute.
No, it's been how many?
2-3 weeks? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I think it's been a month
Have
because
we
we
done
had
so many episodes that they're blurring together?
crazy. No, I think it's been a month. It was before I went on my trip that we were normal time.
Well, we're back just today and we'll be, off schedule again next week, but I'm here for it.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it as always.
Kate, the world traveler.
That's me.
All right, tell me something good while we're waiting. Tell me something good about your week.
Peace and love. Something good about my week. I am like really struggling this week. I'm so tired. I thought it was jet lag, but I'm probably I am a little sick. So
I said, tell me something good, and you just said, I'm tired and jet lag. That was okay. Everyone, so Dense Updates is asking, and also someone else is asking. Yes, do you want to address this?
Okay, guys. We were going to do Hot or Not, and we still are going to do it. I listened to a couple podcasts and had some conversations, and I felt it in my heart that we should probably talk about this instead. I had some really good conversations with people. And then
in England.
I've been in my DMs, and I think it makes more sense to do Hot or Not after the games, and we can give like a true rating after the CrossFit games have concluded.
Yep.
I think that would be best. But honestly, I texted myself last night. Was it last night? And I was like, we should scrap the episode and
go
we
rogue.
Should talk about this instead.
And when you told me what we should talk about, we immediately dove into like a 40-minute conversation. I was like, yeah, we should stop talking because this is the podcast.
I was like, I know we're both trying to sleep right now, but I feel like I have to get this out. So literally nothing behind it other than like we're still gonna do it. But probably just going to be after the games, and wanted to kind of get into it.
Addressing this, we did just announce that our guest next week is Lauren Khalil, which we're super excited about. And we will be kind of doing in that a little bit pre-game talk. So we will get a little bit of this pre and post game amongst other things.
If you want just like if we want to do a pre-games rating, I originally was going to say that the CrossFit games as a whole, like as a fan perspective, is hot. If you know nothing really about the inner workings of everything and you just show up, like it is really fun to go as a fan. So I'd say it's hot. If we start to like get into the nitty gritty, maybe not. If we talk about some of those other things, but we'll see what this year looks like. That's what I mean. And we can give it a fair rating, but that's what I would have said.
I'm gonna reserve my opinion until we see what happens. But I have some. As always, I have strong opinions. But that's not what we're doing today.
No, we'll save that for a couple weeks out. If you guys want to know about Lauren, you'll just have to tune in next week. There'll be plenty of questions to be addressed. If you guys listened to our Christoph episode last week, we did pull a few comments from the chat. I'm really just hesitant because you guys are crazy. And I don't want
wilding out here
to get pulled away from the guests because it can be distracting. I say that every time we have somebody on. But
we will put up a poll, like a question link in the story this coming week, because I know there's a lot of hot topics around Lauren right now. If you have questions, put them in there, and if there's good ones, we'll kind of include those in the things we're going to ask her.
Yeah, we put one up for Christoph last week too. So if you guys don't follow us and you didn't see it, give us a follow, and then we can tell you. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I don't disagree, but that doesn't mean you guys aren't still crazy. So it is what it is. I don't really know how to intro this. So I hope that the people that I want to be here are here. Usually they are. I really want it to be more of like an interactive chat if we can. I just see so much hate, and like this is not new news, but about the WFP. And honestly, this started because I was watching a B.Friendly chat, like live stream, and somebody was in the comments and we were having a really good discussion. I can't even remember who it was. There were a few people, but it just kind of got my brain spinning a little bit. And I don't understand this. The chat. Oh, I see.
Like when we're having interviews, but we peep over and we do use comments in there to kind of guide it. But we also have our own questions and things that we think are important too.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, you were having conversations in the B.Friendly. Don't get distracted.
No, but like I want you guys, like I want to address comments today.
Yep.
So, yeah, had a really good chat and B.Friendly. Then I watched a couple more podcasts or a couple more videos, and it just kind of got my brain going. But I'm seeing a lot of you guys are saying the same exact thing about like why we don't like WFP. And in the conversations that I was having, I was like, I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. I truly am. Like, I enjoy both things. I'm not going to say I'm necessarily picking a side. Like, I like both, and I hope both can succeed. But like, you probably think a little bit differently, correct?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if you were addressing the chat.
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, but I agree with you in that I'm excited to watch the CrossFit Games. I was excited to go to WFP and watch. I love watching athletes throw down. So it's not like I'm like, screw the CrossFit Games. I have slightly different opinions about HQ and all of these things, but I love watching athletes compete when it comes down to it, right? Like that's so fun. And I do, once we get into this, have a little bit to say about the reasons why people hate WFP and why they may not be entirely valid or accurate.
Yeah, I took a lot of people had some really good stuff to say, and I took mostly the main points or things that I felt really strongly about, even if it was a one-off. But I think the biggest thing that I see in every single chat, every single comment on Instagram or social media is that WFP lied about not being direct competition with CrossFit. And I think like this is the fair call out, right? If that is the case, but I think there's a lot of things that maybe go into it. I know nothing, okay? Like I really don't know anything, and I tried to do a little bit of research on timelines. But I think my biggest question to those people is, okay, so let's say they came out swinging from the very beginning and they were like, you know what? We are going to be a competitor of CrossFit. Like our goal is to be as great as the CrossFit Games or better. Would they still feel that? Like, would they be like, you know what? We're actually cool with you guys trying to like step on our toes. I just don't think that would be the case. And that's everyone's biggest argument is, well, they lied. Okay, well, if they didn't lie, would we still feel the same? And I think they would.
I 100% agree, because I think they would have been like, you hate CrossFit. Why are you competing with it? And then, and I think most people who say that would also admit that had they come out saying that, they would not have been fans, right?
I get like the feeling of being lied to, and just automatically, if you feel that way, you're gonna feel like you can't trust the organization. So that I understand. I also feel like maybe a statement could come out to be like, hey, like our direction changed, right? We didn't plan on being direct competition, but like this idea that we had kind of spiraled and it just ended up being that way. But I do think being quiet about it and not addressing it is only furthering the belief that they were being sneaky. Does that make sense?
Yes. But I also think, like, do they owe it to address it? Do they owe it to anyone to address that?
I mean, all we say, like, from the CrossFit haters, you know, all we say is we want transparency. We want transparency. Like, that's all that side keeps saying. So at the same time, and I'm going to let myself into this side, like, if I want transparency from CrossFit, but I'm signing up for WFP, I would kind of expect the same from another organization as well. No?
Yes. I think though we had this analogy about like Coke and Pepsi that I thought was really good. Like again, I don't know the history of Coke and Pepsi very well or like what was happening, but if Coke existed, Pepsi did not come out and be like, "Hey guys, listen. We're a new company that's directly in competition with Coke. We're not as good. That's not just kidding. And we're going to make a drink that's really, really similar. And we hope you buy us instead of them because we're a direct competitor." Like in general, in industries, that's not how it works. Like people who come out, like I don't think phone companies are like, yeah, I'm the exact same product, but a little bit better. And like they just create a competitive product, right? So I think that feeling of like wanting them to say that maybe is because we are such a small community, so we feel more entitled to information. But like as things grow, we aren't entitled to all that information, right? Like businesses don't have to come out and say who they're competing against, what they're like. Do they owe it to us?
Under I can't speak. Under Armour came from Nike. I don't know if that's true. If that's true, I guess that's a really good example of, something that branches off. I'm sure it happens all the
No, I
time.
think Nike owns Under Armour, right?
I don't know if
No.
anybody can let us know. But I think what you're saying is true, but I think it's the fact that they said we are not, and then it seems maybe very much like they are. Like they said one thing but did another. I think is the consensus.
But like don't people feel that way about CrossFit too? And they're like, I think many times CrossFit has lacked transparency, right? And we're not like there. I don't know. I think that happens in all businesses. Like at the end of the day, is that incriminating? Like, sure, it could be annoying or frustrating, but is it incriminating enough to hate a company is what's confusing for me.
I totally agree with that. I think like if that is the one thing, and I know many of I'm going to say these people have more than one thing that they're upset about with the WFP, which is fair. But I think if like holding their feet to the fire just because of that one thing, well, they lied. Okay. But like, again, let's look at the other side. Let's look at CrossFit. And like, we've had many qualms with them as well. And we give them a hard time for sure, but like a lot, I was about to say a lot of people don't boycott, which I guess isn't necessarily the case, but you guys catch what I'm saying.
I have some comments I want to pull up. Like, yeah, in general, like companies don't have these conversations out loud. Like they're not saying we're competitors, we want to coexist, all this. And I think that goes into what I said. He said, we're talking about billionaire soda companies. Like this is a very small space. And I agree. And because of that small space, it has a different feel to it, right? But I think like isn't the goal for it to be a bigger space? So like wouldn't you want to act as the thing you want to become? Do you know what I'm saying by that?
No, I get what you're saying, but maybe, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's such a small space, there is maybe a sense of like respect that people feel like they're owed, because like we all are connected, right? Because the space is so small, like Dave and Will obviously know each other very well. And if you branch off to do your own thing and create something, like, is there just some form of respect to be like, hey man, I'm going to do this. I'm just like giving you a heads up, and like, hopefully.
So I would equate that, like, I hear you, but so I opened a gym this month in Charleston, right? The Charleston fitness community is pretty small. It's a small city. Like there is other gyms near me that I know the owners. I may have worked for the owners or we've worked at similar places. I didn't need to go to every gym in the area when I was opening a gym and be like, by the way, like there was a gym down the street that I was like, it'd be cool if we did some collabs, like like hope for the best. But I didn't feel the need to say like, hey, I'm not trying to compete with you. We're all coexisting. Or to say I am competing with you. Like both of those things are weird. And that's even smaller scale. So I just opened a gym because it's what I love doing. I am competing with gyms down the street. That's the reality. Like not actively, but we're all in the same area. I think there's enough for everybody. But I also feel like I just focus on providing a really good product and serving the people that are in front of me. And like maybe that's what the WFP is doing. Again, I'm not in their minds, but maybe he was like, I want to provide a league that's so great for the athletes, and I love this, and this is what I'm going to do it, and I'm going to put my energy into there, and everyone's wildly upset that he created a company and did something he wanted to do. Like, is that wrong? Don't companies compete with each other all the time?
I mean, I don't disagree. And I really think it just goes back to, like, they said one thing and are seem to be doing another. I do want to pull, what does transparency even mean? No one can actually define what it means for them. To me in general, and when I talk about, I come from a leadership background, when I try to be transparent with my team, sometimes there's going to be things that I can't disclose to them because it's confidential information. But I'm always going to try my best to be as honest as possible. If we talk about the investigation, like CrossFit came out and said, we're going to be transparent about what happened. And then they told us nothing. Again, I understand why they can't. It's kind of like we said we're going to do one thing and did another. But like, to me, it's just, if they would have been transparent, it would have been like, for WFP, yes, we are going to be direct competitors. We hope that both of us can coexist in the space, and we'll try not to step on each other's toes as much as possible, but we can't make any promises. To me, it's just like telling the truth to the best of your ability, but there's obviously going to be some things that you cannot. Does anybody
agree?
disagree?
I think that's a good definition of it. I have a couple thoughts about this. First of all, I think I'll just put myself in the category of fans. I would say that's where I stand mostly, right? Feel like an odd sense of entitlement in CrossFit, right? Like, I don't think in any other sport do the fans feel like they need as much information. And that might be, again, because we're small and because the information isn't always out there, and it might be out there more in other sports. But I do think, like, why do these people owe it to explain anything besides what they choose to put out there, right? Like, what makes them owe us? Like, do I want transparency? Yes. Do they have to give it to us? And is it horrible if they don't tell us every motive and every reason for, like, when we talk about the Lazarus death and the investigation, that's a different, more deep subject, and we can understand why people want answers. But as far as like your motive behind creating a fitness league, like, do they have to tell us every reason? Like, do I have to tell every person who walks in my gym exactly what my intention is, all of it? Like, maybe if I want to, but I don't think I have to. And then the other thing, I don't think the WFP ever told them not to promote CrossFit. I think they even went to the extent of using CrossFit in their videos and got in trouble for it with Jeff Adler's. Like, I think they've been very okay with athletes competing in both and promoting both. I don't think it's ever been like, hey, you're only a WFP athlete. I don't think that's ever been the case, really.
And I do have that in my notes somewhere because people brought that up talking about contracts. So we can kind of go to that, allegedly. And I don't even know if this is true. I remember hearing that on a podcast that somebody came out and said, like, yeah, they told me next year or something that I have to pick one or the other. Okay. They definitely asked athletes to be exclusive, and they had to stop because athletes pushed back.
Show me the receipts.
I'm
just kidding.
I have a hard time believing anything unless I see it like from the source. I'm not going to discredit Dens because she seems to know an awful lot.
Touché. She got some sources.
I'm like, I don't disagree. Okay. But like the fact that the athletes were saying that the athletes pushed back and they seem to maybe have changed their mind. I guess we'll see what happens after this season, right? But maybe shows that they're like willing to listen. I love to play devil's advocate and like give people the benefit of the doubt, like to my own expense. So
okay, but also, what if they do want athletes to choose? Is that like, what if they're like, yeah, we created this new thing, we think we're cool, we think we're the best, pick, and then athletes get to pick? Like, is that so horrible? Is that not like the nature, again, of every business that creates like, we talk about billionaire businesses, like, you create a new phone, you want people to pick your phone. Like, I don't understand why that is like, it's business. These are all money-making businesses. Isn't that the point of a business?
And I know absolutely nothing about sports. So preface it with that. But like, I assume like you can't play for different leagues or different teams or different organizations or whatever. Like, you have to pick one or the other, right? Like, that is normal. But when it happens to us in CrossFit, we're like, oh God, they made us choose.
Okay, but the community is, to me, is the affiliates, not the athletes. So when we say we're dividing the community, that's hard for me, right? Because when I think of the community, I think what's happening locally, right, on a day-to-day basis, and the whole community then supports the athletes. And if the athletes choose to compete in different leagues, can't we as a community just support the athletes we like in whatever league they like? Why is an athlete choosing to compete in a different league dividing the community? Because most of us are supporting the community through our local affiliates, not through,
So,
you know what I mean?
no, I get what you're saying. And like, at the end of the day, we're all still doing the same methodology, right? We're all still doing CrossFit. Pull here. I don't know anything about golf, but I keep hearing that we need to
Yes,
do
this
whatever
is
golf
very
does.
similar to Live Golf. Yes.
So this here, let's see, they know athletes will pick CrossFit and they'll get the sloppy seconds. And that's what I was going to bring up next is like, okay, let's say they do have to pick, so the CrossFit Games gets 30 people, and those maybe are going to be the best people, maybe, I don't know. And then there's going to be another spot for 30 athletes, and maybe it's the next 30 athletes underneath who would qualify for the CrossFit Games. So it's not the elite of the elite, but it kind of gives other people, we get more athletes to compete. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say? Like,
Yes.
space for more elite athletes in both divisions, or both competitions. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming on here, and that's kind of what I wanted to do.
I agree. Like he said, making athletes choose isn't the problem. Just don't publicly say you're not competing and then making athletes choose. Cool. If the worst thing they ever did was say they're not in competition with CrossFit and then they are, whether that was true then, not true, or they said it wrong, or they didn't come out swinging, like, is that the end of the world? And if that is the reason you suddenly hate seeing elite athletes compete, it's kind of soft, because we could nitpick 1,000 reasons why we don't want to watch the CrossFit Games then from stuff they've said, and we're still watching it. Like, I think it's like a petty reason. If I'm being, tell me how you really feel. I know it's petty.
No, but that's what we do. I was about to say that's what, like, everybody here always, like, we find the smallest things, and like I'll talk about that a little bit later, but like, we just find the smallest things to bitch about all the time, instead of just like realizing that we have really cool stuff going on, and instead of looking at all the positive things, we're like, how can we cut down this thing that we actually don't really hate? Because all of you guys in the comments were in my DMs, and like, while you had negative things to say, you guys don't
Much more rational behind
much more
when we're not live.
Which is crazy, but I get it. I totally get it. So the next thing that people said was that the WFP season overlaps with the CrossFit season. And I know that specifically, I think it was French Throwdown and WFP Tour Stop 1 were on the same weekend, which, understand, that sucks. And logically, again, I don't know anything, but if we think about the CrossFit season, they take forever to announce what the season's going to look like, what the events are, what the dates are going to be. And then I came up with the timeline. I looked to see at least when they were announced on Instagram, but on the 22nd of November, CrossFit announced the new structure of the season. On December 20th, they released their semifinal schedule and like locations. And then on January 10th, WFP announced the tour stops and location dates and locations. So in a matter of 21 days, they released there's no chance, unless they had insider information, which is totally possible, but that they planned out 3 tour stops in 20 days to be like, hey, let's try to fuck it up with CrossFit, and purposely, intentionally put it on the same day. There's no chance you can secure 3 locations in 21 days and get all of that squared away.
It's not like CrossFit has had dates or exact things set years in advance that they could work around. It changes so frequently. And when you're talking about multiple different venues, for both, I mean, CrossFit and WFP's overseas, all of these things, like these things need to be set in advance. And like to sit here and say, like, if any of us tried to plan anything around the CrossFit season, none of us would know how to do that.
Oh.
But also, like, there's so many events throughout the year in the CrossFit season. It would be next to impossible to perfectly put it around. And I understand that there's like there was 2 semifinals or whatever, but I also think the way the season was structured, it was okay for them to overlap because there was multiple opportunities. Like it wasn't like the only opportunity they overlapped with.
Yeah. And again, I think the rest of them are pretty like spaced out. I know we talked a lot about like the athletes competing so much between WFP and the CrossFit Games, but the semifinal schedule was also insane, and athletes competed at like 3, 4, or 5 semifinals. So like if CrossFit didn't change that either, they wouldn't have been competing as much to qualify. That is interesting, and I'm honestly a little impressed if this is which came from a podcast, I guess, that they didn't have locations on December 16th. That is wild that you'd be able to secure 3 locations in a matter of
20 days
20,
or something. Yeah.
25 days. That is crazy. And
I would imagine that while it might not have been like sealed, signed, delivered, it was far along in talks, and then would be my thought, right? Like at least handshake deals were done, if not signed.
I mean, you would think, because like, I mean, I've tried to secure places for local competitions and it's a nightmare. Just for like one competition for anybody to like want competitions to be on their property is not an easy feat. So I guess maybe hats off to them that they were able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else brought this up in the comments too, but I think this is very interesting. We moved Wadapalooza next year to March, which is maybe during the Open, getting ready for semifinals, and I heard not a peep about maybe Wadapalooza trying to step on CrossFit's toes. Like, does that matter?
And it's not a CrossFit affiliated event anymore, so technically it would be in competition by what some people are saying.
Yeah, Miami's going to be insane. I live like an hour and a half from here, or an hour, and I think they have High Rocks and a marathon all in the same week or something, and plus spring break. So we'll see. But the weather, I've gone, I think 5 years in a row to Wadapalooza, and the weather every single year has sucked. So I'm very excited for it to be in March because I'm hoping it's not going to be freezing.
I'm so over being like shivering on the beach. Yeah, I just think, again, like there's people in the comments saying they may be working with CrossFit, they may be doing this. Again, we just haven't seen the commentary of this conflicts with a CrossFit event when they have yet to announce that they're affiliated with CrossFit again. So that conversation should be being had,
I think it's like, I don't think we can discount it, like if it's going to fall on another event or during the Open, our athletes going to have to choose if they compete at Wadapalooza or do an Open workout. What's that look like? I don't know. Just food for thought, maybe. And maybe in March we can talk about it. We can no, that wasn't Cash. My dogs have the zoomies right now and they're fighting. So okay.
I know that I listened to one interview with Will Morad where he said that I think it was originally planned to be, he was going to participate in a charity. And then I don't think it was hey, we're going to replace the charity with this. They just had a different idea, ran with a different idea. And he did say they plan to come back to the charity at some point. I think it was that was one idea. This was the other idea. They ran with that. It doesn't mean they hate charity because they decided to open a business and pause on opening a charity. I think this is a so they took all this charity money and were not for the kids, for W. I don't.
But you know what? It's a fair call out. But again, I think that if we use our critical thinking skills, okay, I don't think any of us truly believe that they that these are bad people. Like
Tell me
we can
why.
say
Tell me why. I'm here for it. Tell me why.
we can say whatever we want about the organization, but like deep down, I like to think that we all share a lot of the same morals and we're just good people in general. Have to. Like I've met very few people in CrossFit that I'm like, that person really sucks. We all like love misery and I think we're all good people. So I don't think it's fair to say like they hate children because I think that is what Grant said somewhere.
What about the children or something?
I don't think that's fair to say. My theory is that they had this idea brewing, and this kind of gets us into the next topic, which people have also brought up, is capitalizing off of Lazar's death. My theory is that they had this idea started, and maybe that was the charity. Maybe it had already evolved and kind of blossomed into something else, and then Lazar died, and they said, "This is prime time for like us to try to give athletes another avenue if they don't want to participate in CrossFit." Now, I spoke to somebody yesterday, and they actually kind of worded it a little bit differently to make it sound worse than the way that I just worded it. I've never looked at it as a bad thing until I started having these conversations, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I also, again, like to see both sides. To me, it is like a smart business move. Like, if you have something in the works and you're like, if I want my business to be successful, now is the time to do it. I would like to think that they didn't do it to like create a further divide. I look at it as they wanted to give athletes another avenue. If they were unhappy but wanted to continue to do something that they loved and try to make some money and like be a professional athlete, like we'll try to give you something else, but we're still doing the same thing. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I also agree. Like, I think, again, we're acting like something is so incriminating when it may not be. Like, sure, that's one way of looking at it. They capitalize on a death. I would say you could say the same about CrossFit continuing the games, like anything, right? But I also think we can look at it, and maybe this is like rose-colored glasses, but I think it's just the fact of the matter is Will Morad was at the games. He was probably affected by it. He wore Jukic's shirt all throughout the Masters game. He has said, like, throughout his whole career, he wanted to professionalize the sport. It may have just been the catalyst to be like, this thing happened. I really want to make the change now. And like, yes, is it for profit? Sure. Like, a lot of people create businesses that are passion projects that are also for profit. Like, I don't think that's necessarily wrong of being like, now's the time, because it just might have like added fuel to the fire of like, I want to make something better for the athletes. Is it better? I don't know. That's not what I'm saying, but
Yeah.
that might have been in his mind. He said, I've always wanted to have a better season, a better this. And then this thing happens. He's affected by it. It becomes, more passion, and the timeline accelerates. I don't think that's like makes him a bad person or makes the reasoning like capitalizing off a death.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that either. I don't know if there's like a right or a wrong answer. I think, if you look at it, just my computer's about to die, with like a business.
You're muted.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Yep.
I think with a business, like just business wise, it makes sense. And sometimes that's not always what we would do morally, which brings me to my next point. Like the CrossFit games, if we talk about if they should or shouldn't have canceled, no matter what they chose, they weren't going to cancel because they couldn't afford to lose that money. Is that capitalizing off someone's death? I don't know. But like morally, maybe they wanted to cancel, but like financially, they just couldn't. And to me, it's like maybe an eye for an eye if we look at it that way. Again, I could be wrong, but that's just like kind of how I've always felt. I knew that they were never going to cancel the game. Like it just didn't make sense. Didn't make sense.
And I also think, again, like the whole thing about they were a charity and now they're not. Okay, so they want to start a charity and they decided instead to start a business. Does this make them horrible humans? Does this make their business a terrible idea? I feel like we're just nitpicking at like whatever we can find. And I'm going to sound like a broken record, but is the fact that they started as a nonprofit thing and then decided to switch to a business horrible? Like, why are we so angry about this?
I hate to say this. I'm going to address this question in a second.
Yeah, tell me how you really feel, Kate. I'm ready for this.
Like, I don't know, when we say that, like, they're trying to capitalize, like, do we truly care that they're trying to capitalize off of someone's death? Or are we just trying to find something to complain about? That's like kind of how I feel, because we complain about everything. We try to find something. Like, do we truly care?
Also, like, if we let it
That was the
trickle
reason.
down, obviously death is significantly more serious. But if we let it trickle down, doesn't half the media capitalize off talking shit about other people? Like, are we all on some moral high horse? I'm like, everyone's a business trying to make money. Like, that is most, like,
No,
sorry.
I agree.
Okay, answer I know how you feel about this open situation. So tell the people.
Okay, well, that actually is another. It started with the open. Actually, Grant, from your video, I went on a rampage about the open after I watched your video about Tommy, and that's kind of what spiraled this whole thing. But
so basically, us going rogue is entirely your. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But like partly.
If you like the new owners, Kate, will you participate in the open again and potentially be more involved? Crazy would say more involved, because it is literally my full-time job. To manage and coach an affiliate. I didn't do the open this year because I was getting a divorce. So if you guys really want to know, it had nothing to do with CrossFit. And that's why I hate when you guys say shit like that, is because like there's sometimes more to it than just like a CrossFit boycott. And that wasn't what it was. I've been doing CrossFit 12 years. I've signed up twice. And it's just because I thought it was silly to pay CrossFit $20, which we can get into another day because this is already taking so long, but had literally nothing to do with CrossFit this year. So if you guys want to know more about my personal life, let me know. I'll be happy to tell you.
Share all. While we're talking about personal life, there was a few comments about my title. I do have my doctorate of physical therapy. And if you're looking where to apply for one, you can apply to physical therapy school. I think that was just a lot of people assumed I was young and uneducated and didn't know what I was doing. There was some mass comments, and I am educated. And then someone asked about an accent. I grew up overseas in Dubai, but English is my first language. I don't know what accent. I live in the South, so it's kind of a little bit of everything. But yeah, that's where the doctor came from. Thank you very much.
One thing that I had a conversation about with somebody yesterday, I don't know if he's still here or not, but and I've heard other people say it too, that why would they want to watch something that they're not crowning the fittest on earth? So essentially saying not interested in watching anything else other than the CrossFit games because
there's nothing at stake, right?
There's nothing at stake. They just show up to compete and kind of like have some fun. My response was, do you watch Wodapalooza or Rogue? And I mean, I'm sure the list could go on with other competitions that are being live streamed, Crash Crucible, whatever one you want to say. That is such a crazy, and I can't wrap my mind around that response. It doesn't even make sense. And that's why when some of you guys like complain about it and you say stuff, I'm like, make it make sense. We don't want to watch anything. We can't watch WFP because it doesn't claim the fittest on earth, but we can watch Rogue. What?
Also, like, I know that most of us just enjoy watching elite athletes throw down. We like watching them move fast, lift heavy, do all these things. Like, is it cool to see who wins? Sure. But I don't watch the games for the last moment of the podium. I watch like every event because it's exciting to watch people throw down. Same with, again, Rogue, Wodapalooza, all those. Like, I love watching athletes compete, and I know most of y'all do too. So, like, okay, but like, what? WFP is brand new, first of all.
Well, hold on. She says Rogue has more credibility than Will Morad's friend league. Please don't lump them in the same category. But I would like to know, and I should have done my research before this, like there are so many elite athletes that compete at Rogue and the CrossFit Games that are doing WFP. So we're watching the same athletes. So how is it any different? It's not like it's literally just Will's buddies that compete or that work out at his affiliate. Like these are CrossFit veterans that are competing at WFP. I don't understand. I'm asking, like, what is the difference? Yeah, competitions are competitions. Right? Like, we just want to watch some fitness. I don't know. And same with Wadapalooza. Like, if we don't want to talk about Rogue, Wadapalooza is the same thing. I watch Wadapalooza every year because there's names that I know and I want to see them compete.
And just because like the owner is more credible or something, like it's the same athletes. It's the same pool of athletes.
Correct. Yeah, we're all watching the same thing, just different workouts put on by different organizations.
Like, isn't it just fun to watch people compete? Like,
I agree with the rewind button. I think Torian did this like the first day or something. They had it on their separate website and I was upset. So I don't disagree. But I think that's going to be fixed, I think, for this next one.
mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry that you're so upset about the rewind button.
I love how like the endless comments about my jail cell and my lighting and like this is not. I'm doing my best, people. I'm doing my best.
Okay, I think my biggest question is if we stripped away everything about WFP, meaning like the organization, who it's by, everything that they've done, and someone came out and said, like, here is this concept that I have. What do you think about it? Would we love it or would we hate it?
We would love it. There's no doubt. I don't think anyone could say they could hate it. Like, I don't think so. Because I think prior to WFP existing, lots of people had talked about, lots of athletes, lots of media, had talked about a league, a season, having this. Like, this was not the first talks of it, right?
No, I mean, people have been saying that they want other avenues forever. And somebody finally tries to do it. And now we're upset. But like, and nobody for once is saying anything in the chat. But like, I think if we went down to bare bones and just talked about the concept, people would be like, that sounds dope. Like, how do we make this happen? And I think it's just all the fluff that has surrounded it that people are shitting on it all the time.
I also think like people like to talk shit. They're always going to find something they hate. It doesn't matter. Their favorite person could do it in the perfect way and they would still find something because that's kind of people's job. The same, like they're capitalizing off talking shit.
But like that's part of me. Like, and we have this like on the agenda too, but that's kind of part of media, you know, but there's a difference between like covering something that's happening, reporting who's cheating on who, whatever it is that's happening in the space. Not just you. I'm just it's everybody.
I think we're slowly becoming best friends.
We are friends. She just won't admit it yet. There's a difference between covering what's going on and just like, I say having an opinion, which is fine, but like we just dig and dig and dig to the point where we make people like feel like shit, and like that's what I can't get behind. But like I think I'm gonna say our job, like in the media space, is to report on what's going on, and people love that. Like you talk about basketball, football, reality shows, like that's always in the news. So I think it's fair to talk about, but maybe like tastefully, you know, which maybe means something different for everybody. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And I think like if we're going to be on our moral high horse about what WFP is doing, maybe we should like have a moral ground for how far in we go on people.
But that's what I'm saying. Like we can talk like me and you have had this conversation before we started the podcast. We're like, are we ready? Like if we put ourselves out there, we have to be ready for whatever people say. You have
and
to know that.
And they came out hot, let me tell you.
coming into any space though, it's like that. If you want to be a professional athlete, if you want to be a movie star, if you like, the list is long. Like, you have to expect, if you put yourself in the public eye, no matter like how small the community is, that like it's kind of fair game to talk about. Now, do I want people like being mean? If you want to say that I have no idea what I'm talking about, cool. Like, sometimes I might agree, but like, I don't think you need to sit there and like, I don't know, attack me personally. I don't know if that makes sense without being vulgar, maybe, but
I mean,
you know,
there's been some real personal attacks, but we're all good.
well, you know, it's all fun and games. They haven't really been that mean. That is not giving you permission to do
It's not
so,
an invite to take it up a notch, please. I'm good, thanks.
I don't know. Anything else that you guys want to talk about the WFP? I do have a couple more things to yap about. But as we're ending the WFP talk, the reason why I like these conversations is I never want to. I'm all for a healthy debate, and I truly want to understand what people are saying. And when I say like I'm a fence rider, I really am, because I can see both sides. I can understand both sides. I'm not supporting one more than the other. Like, yeah, I'm going to WFP, but I would also love to go to the CrossFit Games. If anybody wants to take me, I'll gladly go. And I'll go support CrossFit.
We don't know. If you know, tell us. I thought.
She knows, not us. You were the one that made a story about it.
I think I have thick skin. Savon said I have a dad that doesn't have testosterone, so let's just put that out there. I'm doing fine. Thank you.
You do have to have some thick skin for sure.
I do. We laugh it off. It's okay. We make some funny reels.
I don't know why he resigned though. I'm not sure. I don't work for the WFP, so, and you always know more than what I know. So, I come to you for information.
Tell us the tea.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in the next coming weeks, maybe before the next tour stop. Mm-hmm. So, other things, I don't even know if I want to open this can of worms, because I feel like it's going to take a long time. I really wanted to talk about the Open, you guys, because I'm going to talk about it.
I'm here for it. I mean, I'm here for it.
You guys, I cannot stand seeing all anybody ever cares about is the Open. I'm not saying it does not matter, but you guys, people, act like that is the only thing that matters. And again, this is generally me just asking, and that's all I hear. You don't give a shit about CrossFit because you don't do the Open. Like, does me paying a membership for a decade, which is like $14,000 plus, does that like not have any credit? And then that is further supporting my affiliate, so they pay it back to CrossFit. I've been paid to go to the CrossFit Games multiple times. Like, I just feel like we get so caught up in the Open, and clip me. I don't know. Maybe this is so wrong, but like, I think it sucks for people who have dedicated their life, a lot of their life, whether it's just exercising, just doing CrossFit, or like actually being a coach and being in the space, being in the media, and we discredit them being like, well, you don't love it because you didn't do the Open. And there's hundreds of reasons why. But like, I've supported CrossFit in so many other ways, I feel like, and I'm so, and like, to hear that, and I'm not just saying like about me, this is not like me being upset, but like, I just saw it on our post about having Lauren on next week. Somebody said, did she do the Open? And like, whatever, we can debate that like her next week. But like, we can't act like none of us have never done anything for CrossFit. And to me, that is so unfair. And maybe that sounds like I'm crying about it.
No, I don't think it does at all. And I think I could not agree more, because like, there's so many ways, like you said, memberships, coaching, community events, local comps. There's a bajillion ways. I can't even name them all. But they're going to find the one way you didn't do it and be like, that's why you don't care. And that's frustrating, because you don't know. You don't know what the day-to-day life of this person looks like. You don't know that. I'm trying to not, like, there's so many things happening. Like, I know, because I know you, how much you care about the community and you're like your people and your gym and your like local affiliate. So it's hard for someone to be like, oh, you didn't do the open, you must not care. Because I'm like, that's not like, you just don't even know. But I think it's just the easiest thing for people to like publicly look up, but they can't look up your passion or how much you care. So
But like, why are we trying to discredit people? So like, why? And like, again, this brings me back to the point. We're so quick to just try to find something wrong with everybody or everything instead of being like, damn, we all love this thing. But instead we're saying like, she sucks. Didn't do the open. She sucks. She hates CrossFit. And like, we have to be real that like, that's just not true. We have to know that that's not true. Like, we can't say that with conviction.
right.
Even if I'm like so unhappy with CrossFit, that doesn't mean I don't love it. And I'm not saying that that's the case, but like, I could say there needs to be major change. I hate it. It's the worst thing possible. If I'm still doing it every day and I'm coaching an affiliate, like, or even not just, I'm coaching in general and trying to like spread the methodology to other people. I'm still helping CrossFit.
No,
right?
10 out of 10 agree.
Why is that the first thing and like, I watched Grant's video about Tommy and I was like 3 minutes in and he like pulls up his like open registration. It's like 2025 with a million question marks. I'm like, find something else to talk about. Like, I get what you guys are saying.
Reasons of like, let's just find anything we can hold on to because we don't actually have something meaningful to hold on to. That's how I feel about it.
Like, I get it. And I'm also not discrediting the open because I love the open. Okay. Even if I haven't like, and somebody else said this before, like, it's the Christmas for the community. I've participated every single year for like 12 years. I have participated. I've dressed up with my affiliate. I've been a team captain. I've done all of the things, but I just didn't want to know that I sucked back then. Like, now I can definitely see, but like in my earlier years, I didn't need to pay $20 to be put on a leaderboard to know that I was 15,000th or whatever it was. Like, but I'm still making an impact in my affiliate. So like, that is so unfair for you guys to be saying. I don't care if it's Tommy. I don't care if it's Lauren. I don't care if it's me. I like, put the list. It's unfair. And you guys need to find something else to say.
Is this your hot take or do you have a different hot take?
This is going to be my hot take.
Okay. I'm so here for your hot take.
Ugh, it's so annoying. I turned the video off, Grant. I don't even think he's still here anymore, but that like did me in. And then I went on a spiral. So...
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this so many times. It's like, is that really the thing? Because then you clearly have no idea about what I do on a regular basis. Correct. Or who I am or anything like that.
Okay, that was a broad generalization. I'm speaking to the masses, and if you fit into that, then you can decide on your own. But yeah, not everybody. I love everybody in the chat. Even if you don't love me. I do.
Should I give my hot take?
Yeah, I still have something else to yap about.
Oh, no, go ahead. No, first yap, and then I'll do a hot take.
The like biggest thing that I wanted to say, and I'm probably going to get called woke, whatever that means. But after I had some conversations with people yesterday, I was up all night because I could not stop thinking about this stuff. I think we talk about the open, you know, really being how CrossFit survives, and we keep CrossFit alive if all of these people sign up for the open. And while there is some truth to that, I really think that it is like us in this space, media, the people in this chat, like you guys are here every single week and every single podcast chat. So you guys clearly care so much, whether you have a platform or not. And I think it is these people who really can move the needle when it comes to, I'm going to say like CrossFit or the space. Let's just say the functional fitness space, WFE and the CrossFit Games or CrossFit HQ. Like we can do something about what is happening, whatever it is that you think that like that is. I think we have the voices to do it and the ability to do so because we do have like a little mark in the space and we all are very loud. But instead of using that energy to do something positive with it, all we're doing is literally talking shit about each other. And like, to me, that sucks that that's what we're choosing to do. Like every time I log on to social media, I see that somebody's like posting a video making fun of somebody else in the space, and then like we're on another podcast talking shit about this person. And that's what I was talking about. Like, it's okay for somebody to be like, you know, if I said something wild on here, like, oh, I think I'm going to win the CrossFit games next year, like 2026, I'm going to win the CrossFit games. It's fair for somebody to clip that and be like, this girl is insane, and let's talk about why, as opposed to like, she's so fucking crazy. I can't believe she'd ever say that. Let's pull up her social media and do like, there's such a line between reporting and having a like constructive conversation about what's going on. And I just think that really sucks that we're choosing to spend our energy on talking about other people. And like, I hope you guys understand what I mean.
No, I
Like,
think
of
you
course,
said
we're
it.
going to talk
I think
about
you
other
said it
people
well.
because that's our jobs, right? But like, in the way that we're talking about other people, we can use that energy for something else and to actually make a difference.
No, I agree. And I think that we've had so many conversations off of here about where to draw the line and what's too much and what's too little, and trying to be, you know, respectful, or like hold some sort of what is our standard, what is our values. And I think you said it perfectly. Like, nobody cares more than probably like people like us, I would say, right? Like people getting on podcasts. Like, we're taking time out of our day, out of our jobs, out of everything to sit here and talk about something because we love it that much that we want to put it out there. We want to discuss it. We want to do, you know, big things with it. We want it to be more a part of our life. So I think we have such an ability to make change, even if we feel like so small, right? And I think that's where hopefully we can start to shift the narrative a little towards something maybe more positive by having some of these conversations. And again, that's not like, oh, I think I'm so important and everyone, but
No.
hopefully we're just, you know, a drop in the bucket over time and moving the needle a little bit. And again, like people, you know, this comment, oh, that's not across. Yeah, exactly. And I think like someone said, you know, at what point, going off of that, is it reporting, and what point is it digging at people? That's obviously like to each their own. We are trying to maintain a certain standard that me and you talk about, agree about. That's obviously malleable, but I think we've gone too far in digging into people as a whole, as a community, as whatever. And people are going to be like, they do this in every sport. Like, I get it. It doesn't mean that's not like what I think is right or wrong and how I think we move the needle.
But yeah, and like, again, I don't mean that we can't talk about those things on what's going on, but like, I can't help but think about every time I log on and see there's another video or post about like the same people over and over again, making fun of them for like things that don't even have anything to do with CrossFit, like just about who they are as a person. And like, never could you do that in the corporate world or any job. Like, you can't talk shit about your coworkers openly. Like, you're going to get fired. And like, because
Yep.
it's just not professional, you know? And like, I'm not trying to get into the professional debate, but it's just like, we all are kind of coworkers. We'll say it as that. And like, somebody said we're very passionate, but divided on certain things. We can be divided, and that's fine. Like, we can all coexist in the same space, but like, I'm not going to like rip you apart about like, I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say.
Not me and you disagree on lots of things, and here we are.
It's just like, there's no, I don't know. Like, we can agree to disagree and still get along. There's plenty of people that I don't agree with what they're doing, but I'm not blasting them on the internet. I could be like, hot take, I don't really agree. And like, let's talk about why, which is what we've been doing today on this episode. But like, when I see you guys, whether or not you have ever talked shit about me on the internet, like, I want to see you at WFP or like another CrossFit event, and I want to give you a hug, and I want to like chit chat, and like, but we can still agree to disagree. But like, that's what I want it to look like, is I can still show up and I'm not like nervous to like, if I'm going to have like a cold greeting, or like, I want to be homies, and we
Is
can
this
still all do
you?
our
Is this
same
your
thing.
level of sap? Are you being sappy right now? Kate went soft on us today.
I want to be a lover girl at heart, but I don't know. Anyway, maybe that's my other hot take. I had like 12 today, but
Yeah, we're about. I feel like I've had quite a few too.
Go ahead. Tell me your hot take.
Okay, I don't. This is my hot take of the day. I have a feeling there's no hard evidence behind this that HWPO is struggling because like there's been talks with Podium, and I know Matt's attached to that, and then they put out all this legacy stuff, which maybe is just a marketing ploy. It's cool. The legacy shoes with While on Earth are kind of cool, but like, why all of a sudden are they doing all this? Like, they don't have any more athletes, which maybe that's not their thing. Maybe they're leaning towards the app and like their programming and whatever. But something about this release of the legacy workouts and the legacy things feels a little bit like desperate. Like something like they're,
Ooh.
I don't know. That sounds really harsh, but it is
It's
a hot take.
Yeah.
Do you feel that a little?
I mean, we talked about this on the phone earlier today.
Like when I said it, you were like, I could kind of see it.
I didn't think about it until you said it. And I was like, you know what? Like telltale signs that sometimes a company is not doing so hot.
Like big sales. And listen, companies do sales every year. That's not that crazy, but I don't,
yeah, 5 months of HWPO, that's a lot. And you don't see anybody else doing that ever.
Yeah, just a lot of different things. And like Matt Frazier is a legacy, but it seemed like it came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, they're pushing hard. And honestly, I went through like an unfollow spree like years ago, and I don't know if I follow them or not, but I feel like I have been seeing a lot more recently, and maybe it's just athletes, reposting that I'm seeing, but it does seem like it's more than it has been in the last few days.
This is a very serious problem.
We say this every time we get talking. We're like 45 minutes in and we're like, save it for tomorrow.
But it's too late. Sorry, we like each other. I don't know what to tell you.
We talk on the phone like 5 times a day for like an hour every time. So it's hard not to. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with them. That comes, you look at Podium as well. We talked about Podium last week, I think, and don't really know what's going on with that. And if that's the case, that's 2 not so great endeavors that have come from Matt Frazier. Sorry, what's this say?
About the demo team. So what you're
there are a lot of proven and Mayhem athletes on the demo team. There's already a lot of buzz about Mayhem knowing things early. Should we be concerned about demo athletes leaking to camps?
I mean, that's always a concern. I don't think like that's a new thing. I think it's possible. I also think probably I would assume that's hopefully not going to happen if I'm just, maybe that's naive, but too, like at this point, a week out, like do they know early enough the demo team for it to even really matter that much?
I was about to say you would think they'd be tight-lipped, but that is the case for anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have.
Who knows? But most of the events are out, though.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
most of them we already know. Maybe like half. I don't know how many there are going to be.
I will continue to bring this up. One day I'm going to convince Kate to do Fran with me.
I did finally do a strict pull-up after like a month. So I'm like,
no, I don't want to do it head to head. I want you to do the thrusters and me to do the pull-ups and see if we can beat an elite time.
I hate CrossFit because I might follow HWPO. I need to check. Somebody can fact check me. Somebody's going to say I'm a liar, but, let's see. Supplement biz is tough. It is, well, so they say, but still not really a good look if you are one of the most successful men in CrossFit and your brands aren't really taken off.
And maybe, again, we don't know, but it just seems sus.
Brooke Wells retired or is retiring after this year.
I thought that was coming.
Yeah.
I thought she might retire when the whole thing, like this year prior to Syndicate. If she didn't do Syndicate, I thought she might retire. I mean, it's 10 years is wild. It's impressive. But I think she's also like gone through some major injuries. She is kind of a legend in the sport. I think it made sense. It makes sense. And I'm excited to see her like just throw down.
Is she the first female to do 10 years? I know it's not 10 consecutive.
Annie
did? Oh, you're right. Okay.
And Katrin, maybe?
I don't know.
Definitely Annie.
I don't know. Yeah, I think she probably is not done doing CrossFit, but definitely might still participate in WFP. I don't know if it was total retirement, but that's kind of, I think, what we both got from her posts. I do think it kind of sucks that she's going out this year because of everything that happened in the Open, whether you agree or disagree. Like, what a shitty way to go out.
But maybe not, because it's kind of like, haha, I came back and did it anyways and proved everyone wrong. And also, with or without it, it probably was like gonna happen within this year next. Like it was time anyways.
I don't know. I just think
we'll see. We'll see what happens at the games. We'll see how the games go.
I'm not here to agree or disagree about the Burby. Like, you guys, okay, sometimes I'm like so into what's happening, and other times I'm completely removed. And that was one of those times. I saw a video. I don't know. I think if Hiller probably would have made a video, it would have passed.
I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that does that, because I've hit my mic so many times in the past, and now it's not just me.
I do like her though. Like, I feel like she's one of the last females that's really still in the space. Like, she was
from that era.
Popular, yeah, when I first started CrossFit. And I do really like her. I feel like she's still so young, but they just turned 30, which is crazy. But I am sad to see her go. She's like,
I do feel she's done Barbie. A lot for the sport. Welcome. She said that she knows there were no reps. She came back. She took accountability. You even acknowledged
semantics, you know, at this point. Semantics.
Whatever. She did burpees at syndicate ground and made it. So
I don't know. I'm sad to see her go. So we'll see if she continues to do WFP or not. But it's a bummer. But new people, hopefully. The new era. I feel like we talk a lot about the new era of the men, like Jason and James and Dallin, but we don't talk a lot about the females, I feel like. So we'll see. We do have the same microphones. Mesa actually.
I think they twinsies because of knocking it over. But yes, we do have the same mics. I sent it to her. I sent it to myself, actually. I forgot about that.
All right, guys. I have nothing else to say. I already said a lot. I'm tired of talking.
We're gonna. I feel like I'm gonna get clipped, and I don't know. Grant already made a 25-minute hate video on me. Maybe it'll be 28 minutes now. I don't know.
I did forget about that.
A whole 25-minute video about how much he dislikes me. But I feel like, some amends have been made. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'd be doing work in my DMs. So thank you guys.
Yeah, you're doing the Lord's work in your DMs.
We do have Lauren Cleal on next week, which was planned before. So I'm actually extra excited about having her on next week. I think it'll be really good. Again, if you guys want to know something specific, I'm sure we already know what it is. But if you want to drop us a message, or we'll put up a question box, but really excited to have her on. It is at a different time and day next week. It's at 4:15 p.m. on Wednesday next week, right before the CrossFit Games. And I believe we actually are going to recap the games at the end of every day. More to come on that, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Mesa and I will get on after the day concludes, and we'll do just a mini recap, because the boys, I don't believe, are going to be doing that. So if you guys want to listen, you can get our hot takes on the CrossFit Games too. And then we'll recap and do hot or not, maybe the week after. So thanks for the open chat. You're welcome. We like you guys. Okay. We want to chat with you guys.
Sometimes. But, no, just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, all the time. If you don't want to chat with us online, chat with me in my DMs, because it's really fun. So
Kate's like, guess what I DM'd today? Guess what I'm talking to today? Guess what conversation I had? I'm like, I cannot keep up.
Bro. I love it. I feel like a politician.
All right.
Okay, guys, that's it. We're just going on. Bye. Thanks for coming. We enjoy it as always.